with the recent announcement of the limited edition Boy Genius Signature Broadcaster Jr. by Gretsch, which sold out, by the way. Another entry has been added to the relatively short list of women, or in this case, groups of women, with signature guitars. It's a list that has expanded in the past decade or so, and it includes Yvette Young, Chrissie Hynde, Emily Wolfe, Her, Susanna Hoffs, Laura Basilio, Bonnie Raitt, Nancy Wilson, and Courtney Love. And of course, what is perhaps the most unique signature model name for a woman, the Ernie Ball Music Man St. Vincent. Even though the list of women with signature guitars has grown over the years, I think there's still a lot of opportunity for brands to honor some of today's most exciting up-and-coming guitarists who just happen to be women. Welcome to Get Offset. My name is Emily and you're doing great today. I'm really proud of you. Let's talk about some women who I think should get a signature guitar. I base this list mostly on vibes. Okay, getting serious, yes, this list is largely artists of whom I'm a personal fan. But I also thought about musicians who are gaining popularity, brands that don't presently have a lot of signature guitars, if any, guitar models that haven't been done to death, so I won't be suggesting Fender Stratocasters or Fender Telecasters or Gibson Les Pauls. And finally, I tried to hit a few different genres, but me being me, most of these artists fall squarely within the quote-unquote indie rock genre. Enough dilly-dallying, let's get this list started. Number 1 on my list, which isn't in any specific order, is Elizabeth Stokes from The Beths. Elizabeth shares guitar duties with longtime bandmate Jonathan Pierce. Jonathan would probably be classified as the lead guitarist, while you probably call Elizabeth a rhythm guitarist, but I think we should give rhythm guitarists more signature models. After all, aren't most guitarists rhythm players? And Chrissie Hynde, who got a signature model, golden god that she is, primarily a rhythm player. The thing about Elizabeth is she's really good on guitar. Here's an example. If you've seen them perform their song Silence is Golden from their recent release Expert in a Dying Field, you already know that she plays the main riff in that song, and that does not look easy to sing and play at the same time. In addition to their respective guitar skills, Elizabeth and Jonathan are an exceptional songwriting team, and I can see the Beths' success growing. I mean, they were just the openers for the Death Cab / Postal Service shows in 2023, for God's sake. But back to signature guitars. Elizabeth is the guitarist who gave me the idea for this video in the first place. In a Bored to Death video they did with Earthquaker Devices, Elizabeth talks about her G&L tribute Fallout.
So I'm playing it's a G&L Fallout. That's the tribute one, which I think is the slightly cheaper line. But yeah, I've been playing it for a long time. I like that it's it plays really nicely. The moment I picked it up and bought it, I was stoked with it, but it's not so expensive that I feel like I have to be really precious with it or anything. But yeah, it's a really great guitar. Made in Indonesia, which is, I'm from Indonesia, so it's good.
It's clear that she has a very special bond with this instrument, and I think that's kind of the number one thing somebody needs when they're getting a signature guitar. So, I thought while watching, G&L needs to get this woman a damn signature guitar. The G&L Tribute Fallout is based on the G&L SC2, which was launched in 1982 or 1983 and was a hit among new wave musicians. The Tribute shares the body shape of the SC2 but boasts a P90 in the neck and a splittable humbucker in the bridge, which I imagine makes it super versatile. The original SC2, from what I can tell, had 2 single coil pickups, but I really like G&L single coil pickups, but I really am appreciative of the P90 humbucker combo in general. It's my understanding that both are full scale length guitars at 25.5 inches, which surprised me. I don't know why. I assumed that the Tribute Fallout was a short scale guitar, and I don't believe it actually is. In my humble opinion, G&L is pretty in need of some cool new artists in general, and frankly, more women specifically. They do have some really cool artists already, don't get me wrong. One example is Marissa from Screaming Females, which is awesome. And obviously, Jerry Cantrell rules. I'm a big Jerry Cantrell / Alice in Chains fan. but for decades he's been G&L's single most notable guitarist. G&L makes great guitars. They're one of those brands that, like, if you know, you know, and I think branching into signature models that would appeal to younger players and women would be a smart move for them. I can't stress enough that I personally am a big fan of G&L guitars. My favorite T-style guitar is a G&L guitar. But Emily, I can hear you saying, G&L doesn't do signature guitars. Wrong. Yes, they do. They don't have very many signature models, to be clear, but Jerry Cantrell has had at least one signature Rampage, and Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith has had a signature ASAT bass. Even with all that in mind, I do think the odds are unfortunately low of Liz or really anybody getting a signature guitar anytime soon. Even though they've done a few signature models that I could find, it's pretty obvious that signature guitars aren't a big part of their marketing strategy. Not that I can particularly tell what G&L's marketing strategy is at all, to be honest, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, they don't do demos, I don't see a lot of ads for them, but they're great guitars and I think more people should play them. All right, let's get on with the business. If you're enjoying this video, please consider taking a second to like, comment, and subscribe. Those are a few no-cost ways to support Get Offset and help it grow so I can keep making videos. If you're into financially supporting this channel, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset where you can give $5 or $10 a month for some perks. If you're watching during the premiere, you can drop a super chat in the live chat, or if you're watching later, you can say thanks below. It's like a comment that you can attach money to. I don't really know how it works. Next up on my list is Molly Rankin from Indie Darlings and recent Grammy nominees, Always. Live, Molly has mostly played various short scale Fenders. I think she has in the studio too, probably more so in the studio, but that's Mustangs, Jagstangs, which she donned as a cover artist for She Shreds a number of years ago, and Duosonics. Lately, it seems her 1961 Duosonic is getting the bulk of the attention, so my pick is to give Molly a signature Duosonic. Rocking a 24-inch scale length and 2 single coil pickups with a simple toggle switch, Duosonics were introduced as a student model back in 1956, the same year as the Music Master, though I think the Duosonic is a few months younger. As far as I can tell, Fender hasn't released a signature Duosonic for any artist ever. I would love to be corrected on that. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And I think Molly would be a great choice for a signature Duosonic. Like the Beths, Molly Rankin and Always are coming off of their best and most successful album to date. That'll be a bit of a trend in this list. They played a ton of sold out shows in big rooms, opened for major acts, and even made their late night TV debut, bringing glide guitar to the masses. They were even nominated for their first ever Grammy, but to be honest, I think it's a shame that the album Blue Rev as a whole wasn't nominated for any Best Album / Album of the Year awards. But again, back to the guitar. I think Fender should release a signature Molly Rankin Duosonic based on her beloved 1961 model. Or, hear me out, a signature Always bass. Since I've been following Always, which has been since Archie Marry Me came out, they've used the same Music Master bass, I think from 1973, regardless of the bassist. This bass has been loved. It has the kind of relicking guitarists dream of, and for that matter, pay good money to imitate. It looks like the original pickup has been swapped for some kind of rails pickup, so still a guitar pickup, and it looks like the volume and tone are bypassed, which is an interesting choice. Not too interesting, but a little interesting. As for the instruments of Always, this is, in my opinion, the more iconic option. I'd be stoked for either, but I'd embody that shut up and take my money meme for the bass. Okay, we are staying in the indie rock territory for this one, and the Fender territory for that matter. The guitar is a Seafoam Squire 51, and the guitarist is Alicia Bagnano from Bully. If you're not familiar with the Squire 51, it's a hoot of a guitar. It's got a Telecaster neck, Strat body, P-bass-esque pickguard, a slanted single coil neck pickup, and a splittable humbucker in the bridge. There was a Fender version as part of the cult hit pawn shop series. Side note, Fender, bring it back. Bring back the pawn shop series. It ruled. But getting back to it, for the most part, the 51 has been a Squier guitar, and I think Alicia's signature guitar should also be a Squier. I want this signature model to be affordable, robust, and I want them to sell 1 million of them. And we already know through the Paranormal series that guitarists really love these weird little guitars that blend different models together. I mean, how was the 51 not already part of the Paranormal series? Make it make sense. Alicia's Squier 51 isn't fully stock, and her signature shouldn't be either. In an interview with The Current, she calls the 51 her, quote, Frankenstein guitar. The neck has a Bluesman vintage logo. That's a guitar shop outside of Nashville in Spring Hill, Tennessee, though she has said she doesn't know if it's a completely different neck than what the guitar originally shipped with, or if it's the same neck with the shop's logo on it for some reason. Alicia also isn't sure what the humbucker is, but hers is covered, and I couldn't find any signs that other Squier 51s had covered humbuckers, and the neck pickup looks like it was pulled from a Telecaster, which is, again, not what I could see on any other Squier 51s that I saw online. Let's recap. We're talking a Squier 51 with a Tele pickup in the neck and a splittable covered humbucker in the bridge. FMIC, come on, please make this happen. I need this to happen. All right, let's keep it rolling. Guitarists around the world were shocked when Rolling Stone released a new list of the best guitarists of all time. Of course, everyone had their own various beef with that list, but a big one was that Julian Baker was excluded, even though Boy Genius bandmate Lucy Dacus did make the list. And no shade to Lucy, but a lot of people joked that someone must have confused Lucy with Julian, and it's not the wildest theory I've ever heard, but let's let Lucy have her flowers. For years, Julian has played Telecasters, but I think her signature guitar should be a Telecaster. Not just any Telecaster, an Acoustasonic Telecaster from the Player series, with custom artwork by Yvette Young. In case you didn't already know, Yvette Young is a remarkable painter who previously did a painted series with Zvex for their Lo-Fi Junkie. She might have also done something with Earthquaker Devices, but it's been a number of years since these collaborations came out, and my memory is bad. Yvette is also the person who painted the Acoustasonic that Julian played throughout the Boy Genius tour. She accepts commissions, by the way, so if you're interested in that, hit her up for a rate. And also, of course, Yvette has her own signature talisman with Ibanez, and I have a demo for that. It's a really cool guitar. There aren't a ton of guitarists who have been seen rocking Acoustasonics live, but it's a pretty solid list. We have Julian, we have Jack White, Sting, Phineas, Danny Elfman, and even Shania Twain, which I love that for her. We know that Fender pushed the ever-loving hell out of Acoustasonics for a few years, and though that seems to have slowed, a signature model could light that fire again. I'd wager that Julian is playing an American Acoustasonic. I feel like I remember her in that ad campaign, but I'd prefer to see her signature be from the Player series. While the American series has more tonal options, I think the Player series makes more sense in general. In addition to being a bit more affordable, and we know that this is important to Julian from her video announcing the Boy Genius signature Gretsch, the Player series uses a 9-volt battery instead of USB charging, which is wild because personally I'd pay a premium for being able to use a 9-volt instead of USB charging. I abhor USB rechargeable gear for the stage. My only exception is a USB rechargeable pedalboard power supply, mostly because that's kind of the weak spot with regards to venues is good power, and you can play it plugged in, but I digress. I also don't like, I'll digress some more. I also don't like wireless systems for IEMs that are USB rechargeable, and yeah, God, I mean, think about it. What are you gonna do if the battery fails mid-set? hand it to someone and give it a quick charge, hopefully getting it through the rest of it. Try to find a USB cable long enough to charge while you play. Can you even play and charge those things at the same time? I have no idea. But the answer is no. You're gonna wanna be able to simply swap out the batteries. I like to use rechargeable batteries, which have come a long way in recent years, but that's a different video for a different channel. In summary, Julian Baker Acoustasonic Telecaster with custom art. It won't be a cheap guitar, even going with the Player Series. I mean, the art's gonna make it significantly more expensive. Fender doesn't have a ton of signature guitars that have like artwork on them, but when they have had those, from what I can remember, they are fairly expensive. I mean, it also, to be clear, this probably won't even be a terribly popular guitar, but hear me out, it will be awesome. And hey, somebody's eventually going to get a signature Acoustasonic. Why not a recent 3-time Grammy winner? Quick note, and a little bit of a serious note, I thought about putting Phoebe Bridgers on this list, but I ultimately decided one member of Boy Genius was enough to hit with the detail. But to get it out of the way, if Phoebe did get a signature guitar, I think it should be a baritone BC Rich Warlock. I know some might want the Dan Electro. Iconic, her smashing it on SNL, and she's always been a big Dan Electro player. But as some of you know, the owner of the Ivets Corporation, which owns Dan Electro, financially backed Proposition 8 in California. That was a state constitutional amendment intended to ban same-sex marriage, and it passed, although I believe it was overturned. So like, I don't love that, and I especially don't love the thought of a queer artist putting their name to and selling a guitar owned by a company whose founder doesn't believe same-sex marriage should be legal. By the way, there are websites where you can look up the political donations of individuals, and his is a real doozy. Okay, let's pivot from indie to folk and country. Julian's kind of indie folk, but whatever. Joy Olodokun is a rising star in what I'll loosely call an Americana genre, having been featured on songs with Maren Morris, Noah Kahan, and Brandi Carlile. She is, like the others on this list, a killer songwriter. She, more than pretty much everyone else on this list, is probably more well known for her songwriting than her guitar playing, but her expansive 2023 release Proof of Life hit 19 on the Billboard US Heat Seekers chart, and Rolling Stone called her, quote, Nashville's most low-key musical revolutionary. She's probably the least well-known artist on this list by just my own kind of numbers, especially in the guitar world. I think every other artist on this list, themselves or their bands, are popular in guitar culture, not just for their playing, but for being gearheads. Joy is the exception on this list. Joy is primarily seen with acoustic guitars, but she told the Recording Academy in a 2023 interview for their series It Goes to 11 that her first electric is, oh God, what'd she call it? She called it, quote, her starter Pokémon, and that, quote, there's an attachment and a relationship there that I did not know I could have to an instrument. So what's the guitar? It's by Olympia, Washington-based Nash Guitars, and it's a thin line T-style guitar called the T72TL, and it features 2 wide range humbuckers. I want to say Nash Guitars usually uses Lawlor, so those could be Regals, though I don't know for sure. And also it has their S model hardtail bridge. Does Nash Guitars even do signature models? I mean, I don't think so. In fact, I think they're the only brand on this list that has never done a signature model, but that's also kind of part of how I chose what I chose for this list. It's not really the point of this video if these guitars are likely to be made. The point is more like, I follow the musical careers of women with super cool guitars, and I think it'd be really cool if those women got signature guitars. So that's the point of the video, guys. Before I move on, there's something else I'd like to say about Joy. One thing I liked learning about her was that she was inspired to play guitar at the age of 10 after seeing a video of Tracy Chapman's famous performance during Nelson Mandela's 70th birthday celebration at Wembley Arena. Representation matters, and that's a big part of this video too. Last but certainly not least, Seattle's own Jessica Dobson from Deep Sea Diver. She's also played for the Shens, Beck, Connor Oberst, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Spoon, basically those of you who are my age, all of our favorite bands from high school. If you're in the guitarosphere at all, you've probably heard of Jessica Dobson. But if you haven't, she's a phenomenal guitarist, and Deep Sea Diver seems poised to hit new heights. They've long deserved more acclaim than they've gotten. I can say the same about Joy for that matter, and the Beths and Bully, you know, but it's only a matter of time before the rest of the world gets hip to one of the best bands in indie rock. Yeah, I'm still talking about Deep Sea Diver in case you're confused. Like a lot of the other women on this list, Jessica and Deep Sea Diver are coming off of what is arguably their best and most successful album, 2020's Impossible Weight. That record absolutely rules, and it got them some major opportunities, including a few shows opening for Pearl Jam in 2023, and they're gonna be opening for Pearl Jam more in 2024. Jessica was also on the JHS show, and she was in a Premier Guitar Rig rundown. Highly recommend checking out both of those videos. Jessica is known for her love of offsets, including two of my favorites, the Elvis Costello signature Jazzmaster and the Fender Starcaster. Obviously, her signature guitar can't be someone else's signature guitar, though that would rule. But seeing as how she turned a lot of people onto the power of the Starcaster, myself included, that's my vote for her signature model. Jessica has been playing her Modern Player Starcaster reissue since, I believe, 2014. In an article with She Shreds, she says her Starcaster is, quote, modded out, but doesn't get into specifics. I'd love to know what those mods are. I probably could have asked her, and I'd love to see them replicated in a signature model. I imagine that Jessica's signature would have a sunburst finish like her current model. I also imagine it would weigh less. She talked, I feel like it was either Premier Guitar or JHS. She mentioned that it's kind of heavy. So I would love to see a Starcaster from her with a little bit of weight reduction. Maybe that center block made out of a different lighter material, or maybe even a chambered center block. I'm not sure that's a thing, but it should be. I'm not sure what all she would change in a signature Starcaster other than the weight, but she would definitely upgrade the pickups. I believe right now she has Lawler Regals. Those are their wide range humbuckers, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. But Fender has new Kunafe wide range humbuckers, which are supposed to be way more accurate of that 70s sound than what they had been using. So those may also be a good choice. I'd actually be really curious to see how the Regals and the Fender Kunafes compare, but again, that's a video for another day. This is certainly the right channel for that one though. So that's my list, maybe the first of a few. After all, it was hard to narrow down this list to, I tried to make it 5 guitarists. Technically it's 7. I'm gonna officially call it 6 to 7. I don't know. But tell me, what'd you think? Too much indie rock? Sorry about that. Really sorry about that. Are there glaring omissions? Yes, Jackie Benson is a glaring omission. Did I get anybody's signature guitar totally wrong? I'm sure people are going to yell at me about the Acoustasonic, and maybe people are going to say I even have Jessica Dobson's signature wrong, and I might. But yeah, let me have it in the comments. Just please be respectful. I'm a person. I have feelings. Sometimes. Well, if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you liked, commented, and subscribed. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to our exclusive Discord server, and at the $10 level, you get an exclusive Get Offset logo mug. We also have merch at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop, including a shirt with my big dumb face on it. It's called the Emily Dumb Face shirt. It is my second best selling piece of merch ever. It confuses my family. Buy the shirt, confuse my parents. We also have simple logo shirts, including tank tops and different colors, and a hoodie, I think. There are affiliate links as well. That's a great way to support the channel. Affiliate links are in the video description. They may have also popped up on the screen occasionally. So if you're shopping for gear or anything really, please consider using those links. I would especially implore you to use the Sweetwater affiliate links. I love Sweetwater. I trust Sweetwater. It's the best way to support this channel, doing things that, let's be honest with ourselves and each other, we were probably going to do anyway. Once again, you can also drop a super chat if you're here during the premiere and say thanks below. And if you missed the premiere but wish you didn't, opt into notifications so you'll hopefully get a 30-minute warning before a premiere starts. And those usually start, I try to do Tuesdays or Wednesdays at noon Pacific time. Well, for everybody out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for understanding. Keep being you. I'm so proud of you as always. And until next time, my name is Emily. Goodbye.